What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. In this video, going to take a look. AIOZ is going to be the example, but going to just kind of talk about expected returns and how that works. And I know a lot of people are wondering, should I be flipping this into that coin or should I be doing this? And DJ Hoppy asked a question over there in the Discord. He said, I'm largely in AIOZ right now, making mistakes, and somehow a lot of my capital had been overtraded into AIOZ prior to the fall. I'm sure this has happened to a lot of us in different coins, right? At different points. So he's not alone in that. As things have shaped up for this coin and our outlook for the wave 5 is becoming more so $5, what's your thoughts on trying to get out of AIOZ close to $1 and into others that didn't get beat up so bad but still have a strong wave 5 outlook? Okay. So that was the framework for what I'm going to be talking about in this video. He's talking about when it gets back up to $1, should I rotate into this? Should I rotate into that? And this is going to be applicable to any of your coins because there's 3 levels here that I'm going to be calling out. And so you can do this on your own for each of your individual coins. But it doesn't matter so much, what the wave 5 outlook looks like. It's more about the percentages that are remaining. And so say AIOZ gets up to, he mentioned $1. And he's like, well, should I rotate it into something else? Price is going to be up here in this situation. Okay. Well, the real question is, what are you trying to rotate it into? And what is the expected return remaining on that? Right? Because you have a couple levels here that you're going to be looking at. The levels you would be looking at are its former all-time high, which would be 38% in that situation, and a $5 target at the end would be 400%. So the question is, should I rotate out of AIOZ into something that has a stronger wave 5? Well, what is the expected remaining return for the asset that you're trying to rotate this into? So at that point, we're saying AIOZ has about a 5x, a 5.2x to get to its primary target. Well, if you're rotating it into something, theoretically, you should be rotating it into something that has more than a 5.2x remaining. So that's how it works throughout any of this, is what is the expected return remaining on your coin and what is it for the other coins that you're looking to rotate it into? And there's going to be 3 primary levels on any of your coins I want you to look at. The first level is this 10-10 breakdown level. And this is going to be shorter term. I expect when things start moving that this is the level that gets taken back relatively quickly. Where that broke down from, I think it gets back up there fast when it starts moving. So in the short term, you're looking at AIOZ. It got hit pretty hard. It's a 2.4x to get back up there, right? Whereas if we look at something like, let me bring in, here's AIOZ still. Let me do this. Let's bring in even WIF. What the heck? In order for WIF to get back to its 10-10 breakdown level, and I haven't done this math yet. Yeah, okay. Order for WIF to get back to its 10-10 breakdown level, which again is the level across the board we're looking for these things to get back to quickly, right? Well, it wouldn't make sense for you to rotate AIOZ on the short term here into WIF because the amount that we feel strongly about, that we have a high probability this price gets hit, this has way higher recovery. Theoretically, if you were looking to trade anything, you would trade out of your WIF and buy AIOZ because in the short term, that should be getting a higher percent. That's on the short term though, right? Okay. So now you understand that's that last drop down level. That's what we're looking at. The next level that most places catch resistances are their former all-time highs. That's the next level I want you to pay attention to when we're looking at expected returns. So from where we're at right now in AIOZ, 1074, that's about almost a 12x, 11.75x. From where we're at right now on WIF, 1159, 1074. So when you look at that target, which is the next logical place for price to stop in, going upwards, if we're just looking for 3 targets here, is the former all-time high. Well, on that time frame, right? Outside of this 10-10 breakdown, you can see that WIF has the higher expected return. And then you look at your primary targets from where we're at right now, AIOZ, that's still a 44x from where you're at. So rotating into something else is risky, but let's see. I don't even know what it is here for, if we get $20 for WIF, probably pretty close. 53 and 44. Those numbers got big after this drop. But my point being is once you get back up here, they shrink quite a bit. From that level, you're only at an 18x. From this level, 28x, right? But that's my point, is it's really dependent on where these other things are at within their cycle. Our highest probability on the retrace here, confidence level, is this 10-10 breakdown level. And that should happen fast, faster than others, right? Okay. Well, then that's when you move this and you say, now I just want to pay attention to the next one. AIOZ to its former all-time high is only a 4x. If you're looking at something else that got up to its 10-10 breakdown level and at that former all-time high is like an 8x, well, it might make sense to be in that other one, right? And then you go up to the next one. So it's fluid, and it depends on what you're looking to rotate into, and it depends. You look for the highest probability areas for price to get stopped out at different levels, at a near term, at a medium term, and at a long term, right? And again, you can do this with any one of your coins. I just told you what to do. Grab your 10-10, grab your former all-time high, and grab whatever the primary target is that you have for it. And then that's how you look at your portfolio, and that's how you can rebalance your portfolio. If AIOZ, again, gets up here, WIF's still down here, well, that tells you that might be a time that I could rotate, 25% of my bag, sell it for the thing that hasn't hit the 10-10 level yet because it's a high probability level. Bam, that's an easy swing. There's so many different ways to make money. And I'm excited to start showing you guys this stuff. We just haven't really had a lot of upside here to talk about it. But like, we're going to be implementing a ton of different strategies, over the next, I'm doing this channel forever. Over the next years, we're going to be implementing a ton of different strategies, looking at things a ton of different ways. And right now, this is the best way for you to look at it. Okay. So don't overtrade, don't over rotate, but do pay attention to these three levels. And if you have to, readjust your bags and reallocate accordingly, then do so. But I wouldn't be panicking. And again, brother, like if this goes up to $1, it really just depends where everything else is at, right? If your other stuff's still down here, then yeah, it's probably a good time to flip a decent amount of it. Because from that point in time, like we said, our base case, we have a 4x left. But say you have, here, I'll do this again. But like, say that thing's up there at $1. We see it only has 400% left. But say WIF is at 190 and we're still expecting that $20. Well, that's 9x potential versus 5x potential. Or excuse me, 10x potential just about versus just about 5x potential. So it would make sense for you to rotate part of your bag into the underperforming asset. But again, it just depends on how good you feel about those prices being hit. So there's just so many different ways to do it. And I didn't want to just answer that text in a, just in a message typed on there. I thought it'd be a good idea I want to get more of these like educational type concept videos out where you guys can really understand like how I think. And this is a really simple way for you guys to be able to do it on your own using charting and not needing my help. Look for the 10-10 breakdown level, the former all-time high, and the primary target. If the primary target is below the former all-time high, then look for like the last local macro high, right? So like an example of that, if I show you WIF, is that B wave. This technically isn't the former all-time high. It's that high back there. So, use the last local high. You guys will see. You'll be able to figure it out when you're looking at your own charts, but all right, that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you guys found some value in that. Again, I want to do more, I want to show my thinking a little bit more. And anytime I can find a way to do that, I'm happy to do it. I always appreciate your guys' questions and, You know, again, if you ever have any ideas for videos or concepts that you think would be cool or beneficial for the group, shoot me a DM, man. I'm always looking for different ways to do this. I don't just want to sit there and, talk about the same charts every day either. I want to find different ways to bring you guys value. So, ideas are always appreciated. Hope you guys are having an awesome Saturday. I'm going to have another one coming out a little bit later. So, catch you in that.